Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we were diving deep into a topic that can make or break your website's design and user experience. Typography. That's right, we're talking about fonts. This might seem like a small detail, but choosing the right font is a powerful tool. It sets the tone, communicates your brand's personality, and most importantly, ensures your message is read and understood. So, if you've ever felt overwhelmed by the thousands of fonts out there, or you just want to level up your web design game, you're in the right place. We're going to break down everything you need to know to select the perfect font for your website, turning confusing choices into confident decisions. Let's get started on mastering web typography. First things first, let's talk about the foundation of web typography. Web-safe fonts. What exactly are they? Simply put, these are fonts that are pre-installed on the vast majority of computers and devices. Think of classics like Arial, Helvetica, Times New Roman, and Georgia. Why is this so important? Because when you use a web-safe font, you can be almost certain that your website will look exactly as you intended, no matter who is viewing it or what device they're using, be it a Windows PCA, MacBook, an Android phone, or an iPhone. If you choose a fancy custom font that isn't installed on a user's device, their browser will have to substitute it with a default font. This can completely wreck your design. Suddenly, your carefully crafted layout is a jumbled mess. Text overflows its containers, and the entire vibe you were going for is lost. By starting with web-safe fonts, you're building on a reliable base, guaranteeing a consistent and predictable experience for every single visitor. It's the safest bet for maximum compatibility, and in web design, compatibility is king. Now, let's move on to the most crucial aspect of any font choice: readability. It doesn't matter how beautiful or unique a font is if people can't easily read it. The primary goal of text on a website is to convey information. And if your audience has to squint or struggle to decipher your words, they're not going to stick around. This is why prioritizing readability is non-negotiable. So what makes a font readable? Look for simple, clear typefaces with distinct letter forms. Avoid overly decorative or script fonts for your main body text. These can be fun for a headline or a logo, but for paragraphs of text, they create a lot of visual noise and strain the eyes. Pay attention to the X height, which is the height of the lowercase letters. A larger X height generally improves readability. Also, consider the spacing between letters, known as kerning and tracking. Good fonts have well-balanced spacing that prevents letters from looking too cramped or too far apart. When in doubt, always choose clarity over cleverness. Your users will thank you for it by actually reading your content. Once you've got a handle on readability, you might be tempted to use all the cool fonts you found. But hold on. A common mistake many beginners make is using too many different fonts on one site. This can make your design look cluttered, unprofessional, and confusing. Imagine a magazine where every headline, subheading, and paragraph used a different font. It would be a chaotic mess, right? The same principle applies to your website. A good rule of thumb is to limit your font palette to just 2, or at most, 3 complementary fonts. This creates a sense of visual hierarchy and cohesion. Typically, you'll choose one font for your headings, your H1 South, H2 South, etc., and another for your body text, your paragraphs. Your heading font can be a bit more expressive and attention-grabbing, while your body font should be highly readable and comfortable for long-form reading. How do you find fonts that complement each other? You can pair a serif font like Georgia with a sans serif font like Arial for a classic high contrast look. Or you could use 2 different sans serif fonts. Maybe one that's bold and condensed for headings, and one that's lighter and more spacious for the body. The key is to create a clear distinction between different types of text while maintaining a harmonious overall aesthetic. By being selective, you create a stronger, more polished design. Next up is a crucial technical consideration that directly impacts your user experience: font loading speeds. We live in an age of impatience. If your website takes too long to load, visitors will leave before they even see your content. And guess what? Custom fonts can be a major contributor to slow load times. Each font file, especially if you're using multiple weights like regular, bold, and italic, has to be downloaded by the user's browser. The more fonts and weights you add, the heavier your page becomes. This is why you need to be mindful of performance. Before you fall in love with a font, check its file size. Some fonts are optimized for the web and are relatively small, while others can be surprisingly large. Slow loading times not only frustrate users, but can also negatively affect your SEO, as search engines like Google prioritize fast-loading sites. So always balance your desire for a specific look with the practical need for speed. A beautiful website is useless if no one waits around for it to load. We'll talk more about a great solution for this in a bit, but for now, just remember, a fast website is a successful website. Beyond the technical aspects, your font choice is a powerful branding tool. The fonts you use say a lot about your brand's personality, or what we call its tone. Are you a sleek, modern tech company? A clean, geometric sans serif font like Montserrat or Lotto might be a perfect fit. Are you a traditional, trustworthy law firm? Classic, sturdy serif font like Meriwether could convey that sense of establishment and reliability. Or perhaps you're a whimsical, creative blogger. A font with a bit more personality, maybe a friendly, rounded sans serif or a soft script, could capture that playful spirit. Think of fonts as the clothing your words wear. You wouldn't wear a tuxedo to the beach, and you wouldn't wear swim trunks to a board meeting. In the same way, your font choice needs to align with your brand identity and the message you want to communicate to your audience. Before you even start looking at fonts, take a moment to define your brand's core attributes. Is it professional, playful, elegant, edgy, or friendly? Once you have those keywords, you can search for fonts that evoke those specific feelings. This strategic approach ensures your typography isn't just functional, but also a key part of your brand's storytelling. So where do you find all these amazing, web-optimized, and brand-appropriate fonts without slowing down your site? This brings me to one of my favorite resources, and a game-changer for web designers everywhere, Google Fonts. Google Fonts is a massive free library of over 1,000 high-quality fonts, all specifically optimized for the web. There are several huge advantages to using Google Fonts. First, variety. With such a vast collection, you're almost certain to find fonts that match your brand's tone and pair beautifully together. You can filter by category serif, sans serif, display, handwriting, and monospace to narrow down your options quickly. Second, and this is a big one, is performance. Because the fonts are hosted on Google's powerful servers, they load incredibly fast. When a user visits your site, their browser can fetch the font from Google's distributed network, which is often faster than downloading it directly from your own server. Many users might even have the font cached in their browser from visiting another site that uses it, making the load time instantaneous. And finally, it's incredibly easy to use. Google Fonts gives you a simple line of code to add to your website's HTML, and then you can start using the fonts in your CSS right away. It takes all the guesswork out of font implementation. It's a fantastic tool that gives you creative freedom without sacrificing speed or compatibility. So, let's do a quick recap of our journey to mastering web typography. We started with the importance of choosing web-safe fonts for maximum compatibility, ensuring your site looks great for everyone. Then we emphasized that readability is paramount. Always pick clear, simple typefaces for your main content. We learned to create a cohesive and professional look by limiting ourselves to just 2 or 3 complementary fonts. We also discussed the critical impact of font loading speeds on user experience and SEO, reminding us to balance aesthetics with performance. We explored how fonts are a vital part of your brand's identity, setting the tone and communicating your personality. And finally, we highlighted Google Fonts as an incredible free resource that offers variety, speed, and ease of use. By keeping these principles in mind, you're no longer just randomly picking fonts that look nice. You're making strategic design decisions that will improve your website's usability, strengthen your brand, and ultimately help you better connect with your audience. Typography is a deep and fascinating field, but with these guidelines, you now have a solid framework to choose the perfect font every single time. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this deep dive into web typography. I hope you found it helpful and feel more confident about making your next font choice. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, I'd really appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want more web design tips and tutorials, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our future content. Do you have a favorite font pairing? Let me know in the comments below. I love seeing what you all are creating. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.